Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Al, for this nice introduction. And it's an honor today to be with you and the NCCI. And I know that many of you have traveled for a long distance. And I admit to get here, and I admit that corporate support for sustainable communities is one of the causes for which I would travel a long way. But as luck would have it, in Philadelphia is my hometown here. And so on behalf of my fellow Philadelphians, let me welcome you to this fair city, a community with a history of great partnerships between private business, local government, academia, and some 3,000 non-profit organizations. Dow is proud to be a part of that history. We have gladly given our support to many good initiatives through the years, and we've been proud to see others step up too, adding their support to build sustainable communities here and throughout the world. By working together, we have advanced the cause of sustainability and sustainable communities to a level that many of us would only dream of only 10 or 20 years ago. No doubt, many of you are here today could bear witness to what good intentions and a lot of well-spent money can do. But times are changing, and what worked in the past may not be the right thing for the future. In fact, I believe that time is right for organizations throughout the world to embrace a new level of sustainability. If we truly want to make a difference, if we truly want to take our sustainability efforts to the next level, we must embrace a new philosophy. So let me explain. In the past, many of us adhered to the philosophy of the triple bottom line. We built many of our community programs around the realization that our actions have economic, environmental, and social impacts. Acknowledging that allowed us to make a tremendous difference on both the local and global scale. At Dow, for instance, we developed community advisory panels that allowed us to work directly with our neighbors around the world to improve our operations. At the same time, we began to more effectively and actively promote volunteerism, diversity initiatives, and local recycling programs that helped our local communities. We donated equipment, we donated time, and donated a lot of money to help better the towns and the cities where we lived. But several years ago, we began to see that this approach by itself had limitations. Like many companies, we began to see that a strict adherence to the bottom line felt like an add-on kind of program. And we realized that there was more, much more, which could be done. If we truly wanted to make a difference, we had to take our sustainability efforts into a new level. And this approach is truly very exciting. I believe it offers the most promise for all of us. It gives us the best chance to widen our impact and to do even more to develop sustainable communities around the world. Instead of treating our obligations to our communities as a separate program, a kind of add-on endeavor, we have integrated it into the way we do business. The days of checkbook philanthropy are gone. In its place lives a more active connection between the company and all of the communities it serves, where improving our communities, our world, and ourselves does not happen in a series of individual vacuums. Instead, it happens when we align and integrate common interest into business strategy. As a global company, Dow realizes that we have a tremendous responsibility, not only to our shareholders, although they're certainly pretty important, but to the greater good of society. We have an obligation to use science and innovation to light the way to a better world. We have an obligation, I said, an obligation to help sustain and improve life on this planet. And we have to come to realize that we do most of the good when we create products and solutions that impact humankind on a worldwide scale just as much as they impact the neighbors in our local communities. We call it the business of sustainability, and we believe that this concept, if broadly adopted and applied, creates the best opportunity to create a more sustainable world for all of us. It will be especially effective if we can concentrate our efforts on our most urgent needs of providing secure energy and clean water to the world's growing population. And make no mistake, our needs are urgent, perhaps more urgent than many of us realize. Urgent because the first decade of this century was the warmest ever recorded. In the last 15 years, 13 of those have been the warmest ever since the time they are measured. Urgent because while the Earth's population has more than doubled since 1950, our water use has more than tripled. Urgent because nearly 3/4 of our energy demand today is still met by fossil fuels, a situation that is by no means sustainable. Communities around the world need innovative solutions to enormous challenges, ranging from energy and climate change to clean water, food, housing, and health. We can't meet those needs, we can't overcome these challenges with yesterday's approaches and yesterday's solutions. To do that, we must embrace the business of sustainability. So sustainable business is all about adopting mainstream technologies and practices on a large scale to make a positive difference in our world. It's a new way of thinking, moving away from small, specialized, feel-good products and solutions that impact only a few people. The new paradigm is about committing to meaningful solutions to our communities and planet's most pressing needs. It's about putting the new length to our business and saying that if our solutions don't resolve the trilogy of enhanced performance, sustainability, and economic viability, why are we even doing it? It's about understanding that there is no long-term future without a healthy and sustainable communities, the glue that binds us together and the wellspring of our families, our fortunes, and our future. Business cannot be sustained without their communities, and any more than communities can be sustained without business. So we must stop treating them as being disconnected. Why not one of the biggest challenges the world faces? Let's take energy. The International Energy Agency forecasts that global energy use will rise 40% by 2030 and 70% by 2050. In the US alone, energy consumption will grow 14% by 2035. But there is one sobering fact. Fossil fuels are expected to provide 78% of that use. You don't have to be an engineer to know that this path is unsustainable. How do we meet rising energy demand using far less fossil fuel? By embracing the two most important facets of the business of sustainability: innovation and scale. In our homes, many of us reduce energy consumption. We use low energy fluorescent light bulbs and tomorrow LED lamps. We turn the heat down on the air and the air conditioner up. We buy Energy Star appliances, and we ask our kids again and again to turn out the lights when they leave a room. All these small efforts can add up to big savings. For a company the size of Dow, the challenge is similar, but on a somewhat larger scale. The chemistry business is extremely energy intensive, as you know. The US chemical industry used about $85 billion worth of energy and feedstock last year. So Dow accounted for a lot of that, And we use, for your information, the equivalent of about 850,000 barrels a day, every day. This is 1% of the total production, world production of oil. That's roughly the same amount as Australia is using also. I'm saying that because my CEO is Australian. Needless to say that we have a vested interest in lowering our energy consumption, and we have. Since 1994, Dow has saved 1,700 trillion BTUs. That's enough energy to power every home in California for 20 months. During that same period, we also reduced greenhouse gas emissions by 25%. In fact, in just the last 5 years, we have saved 900 trillion BTUs of energy worldwide, enough to power 1 million homes in the US. Not bad. But even further is the return on the investment. Since 2005, Dow has saved more than $5 billion doing so in operational cost on an investment of $1 billion. So not only is it good for the planet, but it's good for the bottom line. And that was good for Dow and our shareholders, good for our communities, and good for the world in general. But we know that we can do more. In fact, it's precisely because of our deep expertise in science and technology that we feel an obligation to do more, to integrate our responsibility for sustainability in our communities directly into our business model, and to do that by developing new innovations and new solutions. One of my favorite examples is Dow's revolutionary powerhouse solar shingles. It's the first mass-market panel that seamlessly integrates solar power into an asphalt shingle rooftop that contractors can install every day very easily without using skilled manpower. It reduces installation time, lowers the cost of solar power, and for the first time brings solar power to the masses. The powerhouse solar shingle makes solar power a viable, clean energy alternative to any community, and it creates a new addressable market that could reach $5 billion by 2015. That's a great example of the business of sustainability, as I was referring to. A new innovation for sustainable communities around the world. It's innovative, and soon it will be producing this at a scale with a new dedicated facility in Michigan. Not all products are as cutting edge, but that doesn't mean that they're less impactful. Insulation, for example. Many of us take insulation for granted, but did you know that the average 2,500 square feet home contains half a mile of cracks and leaks, enough air every day to fill 2 Goodyear blimps. Every house, yours too.